Hi, I'm Christine. Today I'm going to give you an update to my philodendron propagation. Previously, we propagated the philodendron in 3 different ways. The first way was in water. The second was in sphagnum moss. And lastly, we air laid using some sphagnum moss. We're going to review the water propagation first. The first one we did was the 1-leaf 1-node. The second one was the 2-leaf 2-node. Here's the 1-leaf 1-node. I'm gonna gently pull it out so you guys can see the root development. So there's been quite a bit of growth, as we can see. The more white ones are the new growth. And here's the 2:2 ratio one. And here are the new growth. So these didn't develop any roots, but this was more like a test. I just kind of threw them in. This actually has a little bit of roots developed right there. But overall, it looks like the 1:1 ratio one developed new roots almost on every single cutting. Now we're gonna take a look at the sphagnum moss. I would point out that in the middle of our trial, I already had noticed some problems with it. And I'll show you what happened. I haven't actually touched it. So this one rotted, so that's no good. This is fine. This is very little root development in comparison to the water propagation. And this had 0. So the only thing that developed any roots in here was this little guy, and there's a little bit of rot going on. With this one, the leaves started getting really floppy, and the reason is because it wasn't getting enough water. So in an attempt to save it, what I did was I just filled the jar with water. And so can't really call this a sphagnum moss propagation because they ended up having to rescue it with water. And that was about a week ago I started to notice. So very little root development. This developed some roots, but still comparing it to the water propagation is not much. These did not develop any new roots. So comparing the water propagation with the sphagnum moss, clearly you can see the water propagation developed a lot more roots. This is the air laying. I'm gonna unwrap it. Just want to note that they did dry out. So when I watered it, I put it under the faucet and re-wet it. Hopefully that did the trick. I have no idea, but it did dry out, which is not supposed to happen in order for it to work anyway. In the beginning of this experiment, I was thinking that this would work the best because the plant is still attached to the mother plant, which means that in theory should have more or an easier time growing. It's still moist, as you can tell by the color. And it's very tightly wrapped, so I want to be careful and not rip anything. I don't actually see any growth. Let me try to clean this off as much as possible. Oh, well, sorry. I spoke too soon. There is some growth. Right there. So that's good news. But that is still low in development in comparison to the water propagation method. So I'm taking a look at another one to see how it did. And there's nothing. Zilch. Nothing happened. I just choked it. Overall, the water propagation worked out the best, and the sphagnum moss could have been better, I think. It was kind of my mistake for not ensuring that all the moss was wrapped around the nodes. And lastly, the aerating was not worth it. I think it actually did more harm than good. Have you also propagated your Philodendron Micon? If so, I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, please subscribe. Until next time, bye guys! And the rest of them look sad.